Madam President, distinguished colleagues, I would like to thank the Security Council for convening this urgent meeting to discuss the humanitarian situation in Nagorno-Karabakh, stemming from the 8-month-long blockade of the Lachin corridor, the road of life connecting Nagorno-Karabakh with Armenia and the outer world. Today, I'm here to seek the support of this august body in maintaining the prospect of reaching just and comprehensive peace and stability in our region, which is seriously undermined by Azerbaijan with the humanitarian calamity on the ground in Nagorno-Karabakh. During the last 2 years, Armenia, with the help of the international community, spared no efforts to establish peace and stability in our region. And I believe today we still have the opportunity to reach this aim. But the current humanitarian situation in Nagorno-Karabakh has the full potential to deteriorate the perspectives of peace in the whole region of South Caucasus and even beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to elaborate, suggesting you to judge not based on justifications that you might consider being true or false, but on values and facts. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights starts with recognition of the inherent dignity and the equal and inalienable rights of all members of the human family as the foundation of freedom, justice, and peace in the world. Irrespective of their residence, all human beings are entitled to human rights and dignity. They should be treated with highest respect and care, even at time of war. Unfortunately, the people of Nagorno-Karabakh are deprived from such treatment, finding themselves in a condition of a total siege. Now, let me present the events, facts, and figures which show the current realities in blockaded Nagorno-Karabakh. So, November 9, 2020, trilateral statement signed by the leaders of Armenia, Russia, and Azerbaijan, according to paragraph 6 of which, I'm quoting, the Lachin corridor, 5 kilometers wide, which will provide the connection between Nagorno-Karabakh and Armenia, shall remain under control of the Russian Federation peacekeeping forces, end of quote. December 12, 2022. Azerbaijan blocked the Lachin corridor under a fake pretext of environmental concerns. Since then, gradual utilization of limited domestic stocks has resulted in an acute food shortage and closures of stores. Prior to the blockade, around 90% of all consumed food was imported from Armenia, and with every passing day, the people of Nagorno-Karabakh don't receive 400 tons of essential goods daily. Currently, there is a severe lack of food, including nutrition for kids, flour, sugar, as well as medicine, fuel, etc. Moreover, due to the absence of fuel and targeting of the workers by Azerbaijan, almost all agricultural work has halted. As a result, approximately 10,000 hectares of land adjacent to the contact line remain uncultivated. December 20, 2022. The UN Security Council discussed the issue for the first time, and the vast majority of Council members called Azerbaijan to lift the blockade. Since December 2022, periodically, and March 2023 completely, in sum for around 180 days, Azerbaijan disrupted the only supply of natural gas to Nagorno-Karabakh. Halting the gas supply has already led to a number of adverse humanitarian consequences, such as disruption of the work of hospitals, disruption of the educational process at the schools and kindergartens, disruption of the work of vitally important institutions and social services, inability of people to heat their homes, loss of the access of many households to hot water, lack of fuel for vehicles, etc. Since January 9, 2023, now more than 210 days, Azerbaijan has disrupted the supply of electricity through the sole high-voltage line between Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh. Since then, relying on limited local resources of electricity, Nagorno-Karabakh had to implement rolling power outages with only a few hours of energy supply. February 22, 2023. The International Court of Justice indicated a provisional measure in the ongoing case concerning the application of the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, Armenia versus Azerbaijan, according to which Azerbaijan shall, I quote, take all measures to ensure unimpeded movement of persons, vehicles and cargo along the Lachin corridor in both directions. April 23, 2023. Azerbaijan, in violation of the ICJ decision and the trilateral statement of November 9, 2020, installed a checkpoint in the Lachin corridor. June 15 this year, Azerbaijan went further with fully blocking the Lachin corridor by banning any access to Nagorno-Karabakh, even humanitarian, including of the International Committee of Red Cross, could have provided some food, medicine, fuel, etc. July 6, 2023, the International Court of Justice reconfirmed its provisional measure from February 22, 2023. July 25 this year, ICRC, the only international humanitarian organization that has been operating in Nagorno-Karabakh for more than 30 years, stated, and I quote, despite persistent efforts, the ICRC is not currently able to bring humanitarian assistance to the civilian population through the Lachin corridor or through any other routes. End of quote. July 26, the Republic of Armenia sent a humanitarian convoy, which up to now remains at the entrance of the Lachin corridor, as the Azerbaijani side denies the access. August 2, the UN Secretary General reiterated his deep concern over the challenges related to the freedom of movement along the Lachin corridor, recalling the previous statement on the need to implement the orders of the ICJ, I'm quoting, including the orders issued on 22nd of February and reaffirmed on 6th of July, related to the measures to ensure unimpeded movement of persons, vehicles and cargo along the Lachin corridor in both directions. End of quote. The Secretary General further expressed particular concern about the deteriorating humanitarian situation on the ground and called for, I quote, urgent steps to facilitate access for the delivery of humanitarian assistance to people in need. End of quote. August 7 this year, a group of the UN human rights experts, the Special Rapporteur on the Right to Food, Special Rapporteur on the Right to Education, the Independent Expert on the Enjoyment of all human rights by other persons, and the Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities expressed alarm over the ongoing blockade of the Lachin corridor by Azerbaijan and the dire humanitarian crisis in Nagorno-Karabakh, which, I quote, has left the population facing acute shortages and placed the lives of the residents, especially children, persons with disabilities, older persons, pregnant women, and the sick at significant risk. To sum up, due to the blockade, there is no any economic activity in Nagorno-Karabakh. Thousands of people are left unemployed as there is no possibility to pay the salaries. Even those people that have money, they are not able to buy anything as the shelves in the stores are empty. Women, children, elderly stay in long queues in order to be able to buy some bread or fruits and vegetables. Sometimes they have to pass dozens of kilometers on foot to reach empty shops and pharmacies. The authorities of Nagorno-Karabakh had to issue ration coupons for certain food products, including rice, porridge, sugar, etc. There is a real threat of hunger. Here are some other figures, ladies and gentlemen. 120,000. This is the number of people living in Nagorno-Karabakh, which is deprived to exercise their basic human rights. 20,000. The number of elderly people who are even unable to move due to the absence of public transportation. 30,000. The number of children living in Nagorno-Karabakh who are struggling from malnutrition and lack of food. 270. The number of children who are not able to return and reunite with their families in Nagorno-Karabakh. 2,000. The number of pregnant women residing in Nagorno-Karabakh who don't have even basic access to health care. 9,000. The number of people with disabilities who are deprived from proper medical care. 4,700 and 8,450. The number of people with diabetes and circulatory diseases, respectively, who are running out of essential medicine. All these events have doubled the rate of deaths in Nagorno-Karabakh for the past 8 months. Furthermore, the absence of medicine, sanitizers, and other items of hygiene create risks of epidemics. 710. The total number of the patients and their accompanying persons evacuated by the ICRC throughout the whole period of blockade that went through a humiliating procedure of proving their health condition in order to get permission to be evacuated. 1. A man with a very concrete name and surname, Vagiv Khachatryan, who was abducted at the checkpoint being transported by the ICRC to Armenia for heart surgery. He was abducted while being under international humanitarian protection. This is by far not the only incident when Azerbaijan intentionally obstructed the work of the ICRC. Again, 1. Another man with a very concrete name and surname, Karo Hovanesyan, who passed away yesterday. And according to the Autospy report, he died because of starvation and lasting malnutrition. 2 3-year-old Leo and 6-year-old Gita, who died in Martakert, as their mom had to live there alone to go on foot to the nearby town with the hope to find some food for them. Ladies and gentlemen, during the previous months, many of you tried to address the issue of opening the Lachin corridor. However, despite all the calls, the commitments undertaken by trilateral statement from November 9, 2020, the legally binding orders of the ICJ, situation did not improve on the ground. Quite contrary, Azerbaijan incrementally but consistently severed the blockade of the degree, to the degree of complete siege of Nagorno-Karabakh. Armenia raised its concerns on deepening the humanitarian crisis as a result of closure of Lachin corridor in all negotiations with Azerbaijan, which were separately facilitated and mediated by the United States of America, European Union, Russia, and yet to no avail. Throughout this time, Azerbaijan engagement has been anything but not in good faith. Back to the first discussion on this issue in the Security Council, Azerbaijan denied any responsibility on the actions thereon and even claimed that it was not controlling the Lachin corridor. Throughout the past 8 months, Azerbaijan brought a number of pretexts aimed at justifying its actions. First, it was so-called eco-activists with environmental concerns, then baseless allegations of transporting arms through the Lachin corridor, furthermore, military provocations, and so on. The Lachin corridor has been agreed as a link between Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh and has no alternative. The Lachin corridor should be opened, and when it comes to other possible communications, this should be addressed within an international mechanism of Baku-Stepanakert dialogue. So today, I'm here to seek your support to address issues of very humanitarian nature, and we expect from this Council to condemn the use of starvation of civilians as a method of warfare prohibited by the international law, to condemn the unlawful denial of humanitarian access and depriving the civilian population in Nagorno-Karabakh of objects indispensable to their survival, including willfully impeding relief supply and access for responses to conflict-induced food insecurity, to demand full compliance with obligations under the international humanitarian law, including those related to the protection of civilians, in particular women and children, and critical civilian infrastructure, to call for the immediate restoration of freedom and security of movement of persons, vehicles and cargo, in line with the previously reached agreements through the Lachin corridor, to ensure full cooperation of the parties in good faith with the International Committee of Red Cross and safe and unimpeded delivery of humanitarian assistance, to dispatch an independent interagency needs assessment mission in Nagorno-Karabakh and provide humanitarian assistance to the affected population. These humanitarian issues clearly need to be resolved with the international community's strong intervention before the negative consequences result in ethnic cleansing of the people of Nagorno-Karabakh. According to the elected representatives of Nagorno-Karabakh, and I quote, "This is a deliberately engineered crime driven by evident genocidal intent. The Azerbaijan authorities purposefully instigated the blockade of Lachin corridor with the knowledge that it would subject the entire population of Nagorno-Karabakh to gradual demise, yet choose to persist with the course of action. At the same time, the report of International Criminal Court former prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo reflects that it is already a genocide that is happening in Nagorno-Karabakh. According to Mr. Ocampo, I quote, "The blockade of the Lachin corridor by the Azerbaijani security forces, impeding access to any food, medical supplies, and other essentials should be considered a genocide under Article 2 of the Genocide Convention, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction. Starvation is the invisible genocide weapon. Without immediate dramatic change, this group of Armenians will be destroyed in a few weeks." End of quote. Distinguished Council, the prevention of such a catastrophe is a core duty of the United Nations and this Council. I do believe that this distinguished body, despite of geopolitical differences, has capacity to act as genocide prevention body and not as genocide commemoration when it might be too late. In conclusion, I would like to come back to the very beginning of my intervention. One of the most important principles of the United Nations is leaving no one behind. And Edwin, 4 years old, Anastasia, 6 years old, Maria, 7 years old, David, 5 years old, Tatev, 5 years old, Samuel, 8 years old, and many others still have a hope that they will not be left behind. Thank you.